It's Thursday. Hello there. Good afternoon and welcome to The Pulse. We are coming to you live from our studios here in Kukulimne on your digital terrestrial TV. We are this afternoon free to air on DSTV channel 421, GoTV channel 144. Thanks for choosing us. We are JoyNews, independent, fearless and credible journalism. This afternoon on The Pulse, a push for fair representation. Indigents of Akpafu, Central Kofi and its environs fight back over claims by the Attorney General that the only way they would have an MP is to annul the 2020 parliamentary election results for the Boim constituency. This afternoon, we'll definitely hear from the aggrieved residents, plus Kofi Adams will be joining us as obviously he'll be bearing the brunt of the AG's legal opinion. Also this afternoon, minority in Parliament demands the scrapping of 3 taxes on petroleum products in the wake of rising prices of crude on the international market, as it warns prices may hit the 9 cedi mark soon. And as well, the Attorney General opposes High Court's ruling not to grant Fix the Country convener Oliver Vormawor bail, as he insists he's a flight risk and has also refused to cooperate with the police for investigations. My name is Blessed Soga. The Pulse is always brought to you by Global Communities Dignity Lu Affordable Safe Sanitation. Don't forget that we are streaming on YouTube, and all of our social media handles is at JoyNews on TV. Also join us with the hashtag The Pulse. My personal handle is at Blessed Soga. Stay with us for details. And thanks for joining us on The Pulse. This afternoon, we'll be bringing you some updates on the SALL situation. But first, we need to bring you this. The New Patriotic Party has been giving some updates on its internal wranglings. The General Secretary of the party, John Boydu, has been addressing the press just a couple of minutes ago. What you have on your screens now are excerpts from that press briefing, which we are bringing you a bit of it, and then we'll zoom straight into matters coming out from the SALL region. Stay with us here on the JoyNews channel.
Party members should be denied access to the purchase of nomination forms by the polling station elections committee, and where same is denied in gross violation of this express rule, that aggrieved member may, through a petition, purchase nomination form at the regional or national secretariat of the party. You also recall that in some cases, time for opening of nomination has not even reached. Members started agitating for them to be given forms. I think that these unfortunate instances is not correct, and we condemn such instances, and we've instituted investigation in most of these areas that these things occurred, and the necessary sanctions by the party will be meted out to such people who misbehaved. The party made adequate preparation for the exercise and also made available nomination forms. At least 25 nomination forms were sent to each polling station across the country. So the argument cannot be made that there were shortages of nomination form, but the desire on the part of some party officers and members to honor these rules and regulations in breach rather than in observance. The party has also commissioned internal investigation or investigative processes in respect of these disturbances, and also persons found culpable shall be disciplined in accordance with, including painting of the party office with NDC colors. The party takes serious view of this gross misconduct, which is not only reprehensible, but an affront to the very dignity and godly acts from the party, of course, through due process. The point must be made that the party has not yet decided on the modalities for holding polling election. Primaries were suspended owing to one reason or the other. You remember that in announcing the rules and regulations, we suspended about 10 constituencies, including Vormawor. So we've not yet opened nomination in Vormawor. So in Vormawor, For instance, the party is yet to take a decision on the date of opening nomination, date of vetting, date of publication of vetting results, and date of holding the polling station elections in that constituency. This will be done and communicated in due course. That being the case, the party certainly did not and could not have sent nomination forms to Vormawor for the conduct of the elections, let alone to have handed over all such forms to the independent member of parliament as alleged, which then erroneously formed the basis for the disturbances witnessed at the constituency, including the painting of the party office with the NDC colours. Like I intimated, all those behind this untoward act will be dealt with severely. Because we've not opened nomination in Vormawor. So there's no way anybody could have given forms to even the party at the constituency level, not alone giving it to the independent candidates. So it is false information that party members depended on false information to misbehave the manner they did. And the party is not going to take that matter lightly at all. It is also worth making the point that the national executives have also been holding meetings with the members of the polling station election committees and MPs in constituencies where there are issues which have been brought to our attention, with a view to resolving same. Where it was established that members of the election committee had not acquitted themselves as required by the rules and regulations, the party is holding them accountable. And in some cases, we have directed a complete overhaul of the committee ahead of the electoral area coordinators election. In some of the constituencies that we recognize that there are challenges. In some cases, we've held on. There are about 3 constituencies in the central region that we've held on. There are some 4 constituencies, 2 constituencies in Upper West, and a few constituencies in the Ashanti region, some few ones in Eastern region that we've held on. You understand? So these are the processes that we are going through, and there are some of them that we've been able to bring them on the table for us to resolve, and they've gone back to do their work. You see, the challenge we are having is that the moment there is a little altercations, now that we have the social media platforms available, the pictures and the videos are taken, splash it out there. Maybe days after or even minutes after, the issue is resolved. Nobody takes those pictures after the issue has been resolved and send it out there. So it is in the minds of people that the party is implosion, the party is in disarray and all that. I can assure you, and it is instructive to make that the point, that much as we observe some pockets of disturbances and ugly scenes were witnessed in some constituencies, which the party condemns unreservedly, the process across the country was largely successful. Indeed, out of the 263 constituencies where polling station primaries have been held, we have seen this worrying development in some 15 constituencies, sometimes in just one polling station in the constituency. And the impression is created as if the whole nation or the whole 275 constituencies are having challenges. On issues of injunctions, those ones we have nothing that we can do as a party. We are a law-abiding political party, and we are going to go through the process. And like I said, the party is currently conducting investigation in these constituencies, and where situations so demands, we may order a rerun of a polling station election in the affected constituency, in which case we may send people from national to supervise the process. The party has also given directive to the various chairpersons of all polling stations and electoral area coordinator election to submit a comprehensive report detailing all what transpired relative to the conduct of the just ended polling station election. And we are expecting that these reports from the chairpersons of the polling station electoral area coordinators election committees will reach us for review before we allow them to conduct the next phase, which is the electoral area coordinators elections. As earlier published by the party, electoral area coordinators elections shall be held from 18th of March to 20th of March 2022. At this phase of the internal elections, the party, in order to increase access to nominations, has resolved to upload the forms for the electoral area coordinators elections on the party's website for interested members to download for free. Forms can be downloaded through the link newpatrioticparty.org/MPP-form. So you go to our website. When you go to where the forms are available for download. But in addition to that, we are sending 5 hard copies per electoral area to the polling station elections committee. This is an election of just one electoral area coordinator. So we are sending as many as 5 nomination forms to them. If for any reason you were unable to reach out to the polling station elections committee, or for whatever reasons, you can still download the forms on our website for you to be able to fill and return or submit the form. It is at the point of submission of the forms that you pay the 50 cedis nomination fee to the elections committee. So I think that I will repeat our website again and the link, so that everybody, that should not be the first point of call. If you want to contest as electoral area coordinator, go to the polling station elections committee. Dates for opening nomination will be made available, and we are giving 5 forms per electoral area. So we expect that an election of 1 person, you should be able to get 1 out of the 5. If for any reason you are unable to get it, you go to the link newpatrioticparty.org/MPP-form, and you get the forms there. The form is boldly displayed there for any member of the party who want to contest as electoral area coordinator. Let's quickly look at the rules and regulations for the conduct of the electoral area coordinators elections. With reference to Article 5(4) of the MPP's Constitution, that provides that the polling station executives in each electoral area shall elect the electoral area coordinator, as well as Article 8 on the guidelines for the operations of the party at all levels. The following rules and regulations have been made by the National Council of the MPP for the conduct of the party's electoral area coordinator. And I must add that as part of the rules and regulations fashioned out of the National Council, we've said that we are maintaining the existing electoral area coordinators. Constituencies must not be adding per the Constitution, where you have 10 polling stations makes 1 electoral area, unlike that of the Electoral Commission's demarcation. We are saying that for purposes of clarity, consistency, and the fact that at this election time there's tension and all that, we are maintaining all the existing electoral areas as demarcated by the party. We are not adding on. Later in the course of our party's operations, if National Council sees it wise or think that it's important to quickly look at our Constitution, that aspect that talks about 10 polling stations makes our electoral area, we'll bring a directive to the constituencies and the regions for that changes to be made. So that point must also be noted. The electoral area election shall be held from March 18th to March 20th, 2020, as noted already. There shall be constituted a polling station and electoral area elections committee to oversee the organization of the electoral area coordination election in each constituency. I must state that that committee is still in place already. The polling station and electoral area elections committee shall be constituted as follows. I'm only repeating what you know, just for purposes of emphasis. 1 rep representing the regional party appointed by the regional executive committee shall chair. The constituency chairman, the constituency secretary shall be the secretary, the constituency research and election officer, constituency council of elders chairman or his or her rep, constituency council of elders, patrons, chairman or his or her rep, a constituency IT officer, the member of parliament or his or her rep, and an elderly woman appointed by the constituency executive committee. For the avoidance of doubts, the polling station electoral area elections committee that supervised the just ended polling station elections held from 19th February to 5th March shall be the same committee that shall supervise the conduct of the electoral area coordinator selection. But for some few constituencies that we've had cause to change the chairpersons of the polling station electoral area coordinators, all the others are the same committee members that will continue to organize this all-important exercise for the party. The committee shall be responsible for the supervision and conduct of electoral area election across the constituency within the scheduled dates, that is between the time allotted and at a venue to be determined by the committee. No member of the polling station electoral area elections committee shall be eligible to contest in the electoral area coordinator selection. A polling station executive who seeks to contest for the position of electoral area coordinator shall first resign from his or her position before you be eligible to contest for electoral area coordinator. If you've already contested and won as polling station officer, you only have to first resign before you can contest. Just as I've said, and I'm repeating, application forms shall be acquired from the electoral area elections committee for free. However, upon submission of the completed nomination form to the elections committee, an applicant will be required to pay to the committee a filing fee of 50 Ghana as agreed on. And I've also said, and I'm repeating, nomination forms can also be downloaded from the party's website through the link newpatrioticparty.org/MPP-form, as well as all the official social media accounts of the party for free. However, upon submission of the completed nomination forms to the elections committee, the prospective aspirant shall pay a filing fee of 50 Ghana cedis. No prospective aspirant shall be denied access to purchase the application. And in this case, if you are denied access for whatever reason, you still can download it. And no prospective applicant shall be refused to submit their forms to the
And this is the JoyNews channel. Thanks for staying with us. This is the polls with me, Blessed Sugan. We need to also pay attention to some other issues, but just gone by is the General Secretary of the governing New Patriotic Party, John Boydu, giving some new modalities to the reorganization process happening within the NPP. We'll get back to that later, but our top story this hour that we've been focusing on, the Attorney General Godfred Yeboah-Dame is facing a pushback over his claims that the surest way of getting parliamentary representation for residents of Central Kofi, Likpe, Lolobi and Akpafo is to annul the 2020 parliamentary elections results for the Boim constituency. The aggrieved residents of SALL have been mounting pressure to get representation in Parliament after they were disenfranchised in the 2020 parliamentary elections. However, answering an urgent question in Parliament, the AG is of the opinion that the only way to resolve the issue is to annul the parliamentary elections for Boim.
The Office of the Attorney General finalized work on the draft constitutional instrument and forwarded same to the Electoral Commission and a copy of correspondence dated 30th November 2020. The office further advised the Electoral Commission to, in line with parliamentary procedure, engage a parliamentary committee on subsidiary legislation to consider the draft instrument before the instrument is laid in Parliament. Indeed, as the Office of the Attorney General apprehended and had cautioned in its letter of 18 November 2020, processes leading to its creation, that the creation of the Guan constituency, could not materialize since Parliament went on recess for the December 2020 elections on 9th November 2020. The same day that the LI creating the Guan district came into force, implying that the constitutional instrument for the creation of the Guan constituency could not be laid before Parliament. The record shows that Parliament resumed only on Monday, 14 December 2020, a week after the 2020 elections. In order to prevent a palpable constitutional crisis to be occasioned if the residents of the Guan district, i.e. the SALL areas, voted for a member of Parliament for the Boim constituency, which is part of the Jaskan district. On the eve of the 7th December general elections, the Electoral Commission directed the residents of the Guan district to only vote the presidential and not the parliamentary election. When Parliament resumed sitting on 14 December 2020, the Electoral Commission could not lay the amendments to CI 128 for want of the mandatory 21 sitting days for same to come into force before the dissolution of the 7th Parliament on the midnight of Wednesday, 6 January 2021. The reality is that the creation of a new Guan constituency consisting of the SALL areas shall only come into effect upon the next dissolution of Parliament, i.e. 6 January 2025. This is the effect of Article 47, Clause 6 of the Constitution. Alternatively, if it is desired that the creation comes into force, the way to achieve representation of the SALL people in Parliament, in this term of Parliament, is to do two things. The first is to revoke LI 2416, establishing the Guan district, which would imply that the residents of SALL will remain under the Guam district. The second step is to annul the 2020 parliamentary election organized for the Guam constituency, to allow residents of the 4 SALL communities qualified to vote under Article 42 of the Constitution to exercise their rights to elect a member of Parliament to represent them. Since CI 128, used for the conduct of the 2020 parliamentary elections, had already placed the SALL areas under Guam constituency. A placement of the SALL areas under the Guam district and an annulment of the Guam parliamentary election in order to allow the residents of SALL to vote for a member of Parliament in the Guam constituency would eliminate the risk of a violation of Article 242, paragraph B.
So that's the opinion of the Attorney General, Godfred Yeboah-Dame. But what does the law say about this? Let's bring you excerpts of Article 47 now of the 1992 Constitution, and you have that on your screens now. Excerpts actually talking about Article 47(5). That's where it starts from, indicating that the Electoral Commission shall obviously review the division of Ghana into constituencies at intervals of not less than 7 years or within 12 months after the publication of the enumeration figures, after the holding of a census of the population of Ghana, whichever is earlier, and may as a result alter the constituencies. There's point 6, which the Attorney General is referring to, Article 47(6) of the 1992 Constitution. And that's where the issue is. Where the boundaries of a constituency established under this article are altered as a result of a review, the alteration shall come into effect upon the dissolution of Parliament. So that's the route that the Attorney General has been relying on, asking that first of all, we need to annul the elections so that there could be a fresh exercise to pave way for those within the SALL area to actually participate in the parliamentary election, because that will be a fresh process. Many of you are wondering where exactly you can find the SALL areas that we're talking about, and we can just put that on the screen for you, a live map indicating where these communities are. Initially, they used to be at the pale yellow area that you can see on your screens now. Hokwe municipality is where all of these communities used to be, and you can see to the north there, Akpafu is there. You have Likpe to the east, I presume. And then these are communities that used to be part of the Hokwe municipality, but now due to the creation of the new region, they are finding themselves in a new place, and that's changing the dynamics of the place. But we also need to bring to your attention the population dynamics now. During the 2020 elections, the population for the area appears to be different with the situation 10 years ago, because a new area or a new constituency has been carved out, excluding the SALL constituency, and you have that on your screens right now, the 2010 population figures and the 2020 population figures. We'll get that for you shortly as and when the discussion goes on. But fortunately, I've been joined by persons who understand what's happening now and who have obviously some stake in this. We need to break down the matters. Dr. Joe Adai is co-chairman of the Joint Steering Committee for the SALL traditional area, and also the MP for Boeing, the Honorable Kofi Adams, is here with us as well. Gentlemen, good afternoon and welcome to the polls.
Good afternoon.
Thank you for having us.
Right. Obviously, the Honorable Kofi Adams will be bearing the brunt of it if indeed we are to annul the election results. I'll come for his take on that. But let me start off with you, Dr. Joe Adai. First of all, you're challenging some portions of the Justice Brobe Commission report, right? You are questioning excerpts of that report. We'll be bringing you excerpts of what they are challenging. But your point is that in the first place, you did not write to the president asking the president that you had wanted to move out of your original municipality, which is the Hohoe municipality. Explain that to us.
Yeah, exactly so. Point of correction. I am co-chairman of the Joint Steering Committee of Akpafu and Lolobi traditional areas.
Right.
And SALL comprises of 4 traditional areas. That is Santrokofi, Akpafu, Lolobi, and Likpe. Yes, to your first point, what happened is that, you know, the president made the whole world understand that he's relying on Article 5.2 to create new regions. And 5.2 specifically states that, yes, there must be a demand or a petition from whatever traditional council is involved. And we can speak on authority that Lolobi and Akpafu traditional areas never petitioned to be part of the Buem of the OT region.
Right.
Yes, so I just want to throw light on what transpired.
Right.
Somewhere in July, there was an announcement by the EC telling us that we should go and partake in the referendum. So what happened was that the 2 paramount chiefs of the 2 traditional areas wrote officially to the EC asking them, if we didn't petition, why are you asking us to go and do the referendum or partake in the referendum?
Right.
So when we visited there, I think that was on the 17th of September 2018.
Right.
Yes, the EC is on record to admit in the presence of 5 other commissioners that yes, we were put there in error, but her hands are tied. So we should go and see the president or Honorable Damboche, who was in charge of the reintegration. So we wrote again to Honorable Damboche demanding answers to what is happening.
Right.
So we eventually happened to meet him on the 18th of November 2018. And there he's on record to have admitted that we were actually placed there in error. So we asked him, if we are placed there in error, why can't you correct these abnormalities?
Right.
And he said it is too late because of time frame, so we should rather go and partake in the referendum. And I think you can imagine what transpired. We told them, no, once you have placed us there in error, you should be able to correct this abnormally. And then he went further to say, oh, if we don't get 50% turnout and then 80% yes, we will be placed back in Hohoe. So that is the first phase of it.
So you're creating the impression now that you were in fact forced to partake in the referendum.
Yes, that is so. And we had over 95% boycott because our people said they don't want to be part of OT. And to reiterate that again, you know, Lolobi or the SALL area originally used to be, was part of the Buem Jasika, what do you call, territory.
Okay.
I mean, during the colonial era.
Right.
Yeah, Buem Karachi. So what happened was that there was a nasty incident that took place. And then the case had to travel to the Eastern Province, that is the Supreme Court of the Eastern Province in Kufodia.
Okay.
And it was there that the judge ruled that for peace to pertain or prevail, Lolobi and Akpafu should be removed from Jasika Buem and then padded to, what do you call this one? Biakuye,
right.
Nkonya Biakuye.
Right.
So as far back as 1945, Lolobi and Akpafu, you know, we are the same ethnic.
So there are historical ties.
Yes.
Right.
So we were removed from Jasika Buem district.
Okay.
And then I think it was some few years later, then Santrokofi and Likpe also joined.
Right.
So when we got to, what do you call it, Biakuye, I think the conditions were not too conducive. So somewhere in 1978, by then Hohoe was actually under Kpando. So through the instrumental work of our chiefs and other stakeholders, we were the original, what do you call it, formers of the Hohoe, the current Hohoe assembly.
Okay, so that was the first move. So you pushed for that area to be carved out so it could contain SALL. Central Kofi, Akpafu, Lolobi, and Likpe.
Yes, there were other stakeholders, including Evli, Alavanyo Bay, and some other places. So that was how the whole thing transpired. So what happened was that in 1992, 10 chiefs from the northern part of Volta region, including Likpe and Central Kofi. You see, I just wanted to prove to everybody that
a historical
there is a historical background that Lolobi and Akpafu had always maintained their status quo, that they don't want to be part of the OT enclave. Right. So we have documents to prove that 10 traditional areas, including Central Kofi and Likpe, all the way to Ketekrachi, petitioned PNDC government. That was on the 13th of January 1992, that a separate region must be created for them. And on the 28th of April 1992, the then paramount chief of Akpafu traditional area, Nana Boafo Gadagari I, wrote to the then PNDC government to distance Lolobi and Akpafu from this move. So you could see that we had been very consistent and said, no, we don't, because of historical challenges, we don't want to be part of OT. So when the, what do you call this, the Electoral Commission says we should go and vote, that was why our people said, no, we are not part of it. Yes. So far, that is the historical background.
But we'll come back to the challenges that are coming through now, the opinion of the Attorney General and all of that. But let me start off on that leg with Kofi Adams, who's with us. You disagree, obviously, with the decision of the Attorney General. But what solution are you proffering as a means of dealing with this constitutional crisis that we're facing now?
Well, good afternoon to you again and to your viewers. Constitutional crisis bestowed on us as a result of clear incompetence of government and its appointees. That's what has resulted in all these situations. And instead of them showing a certain sign of remorse, you are rather getting them arrogantly behaving as if the people of Guam or SALL are the ones who were at fault. They caused something and you are trying to help them. You are behaving as if you are rather trying to help them. But all these have happened as a result of the failure of government to act in such a way that would describe them as being competent. Because one, this is not the first time a district will ever be created or have been created in this country. This is not the first time that the constituency boundaries will be reviewed. And this, of course, will not be the first time that a new region would have been created. But why is it the case that in this case we are having all the problems that we are having? And so it is important to resolve the foundational issues. Then you can now progress on. But even as you work to resolve these foundational issues, you don't start to spite them as if they are not part and parcel of a country called Ghana. Well, we have agreed to go multi-party democracy, and in doing so, we've agreed that constituencies will be created. We have accepted that everybody who is an adult must be given the right to register and be given the opportunity to vote. Unfortunately, for the people of SALL, when it came to the 2020 elections, they demonstrated to be allowed to register. They managed to register because, of course, for some of them, like Dr. Adai is saying, those who truly petitioned to belong to OT were promised a district. And so they were demanding for that. Whilst this was going on, those who also did not petition, that is the Akpafu and Lolobi group, who are more like cousins because the language they speak is this, even though they are different traditional areas, but the language is what? Similar. We're also fighting their rights to be recognized, to belong to Volta region. And by extension, that would mean they will be under Ohwe municipal and not this current Guam or Jasikan as they sought to suggest. So for me, sitting here, one, representation is important. And I represent people. So I must see to it that every other person is represented.
And that's where we need a solution. Obviously, as we speak now, persons who are from Central Kofi Akpafo, Likwe areas now belong to the OT region. They need representation.
Sure.
The Attorney General has put a solution out. The question is, what are you scared of? Why not allow that process to go through?
Representation is not done at the regional level. Representation is done at the constituency level.
Obviously, but you can have SALL move to Hohwe now. That's the challenge.
Well, nobody is asking that move SALL to Hohwe or move SALL to Buim. That's not the question I posed to him. Was the status of the draft CI for the creation of a Guam constituency, and I described it as, I didn't want to be mentioning the traditional areas because I am minded that two traditional areas, that is Akpafu and Lolobi, are still contesting and are in court. So I only use the term Guam, whether that is just Likpe and Central Kofi or inclusion of any other part. I didn't want to define it as constituency for all these areas.
But be it as it may, he says the solution is right at your doorstep.
Well, he's saying the solution is that his president, President Nana Danko Akufo-Addo, acted incompetently by creating the Guam district. That's what he's saying.
But be it as it may, the solution lies with you.
He says that the president acted incompetently and that President Nana is incompetent. And that Speaker Michael Kwe, who allowed the laying of the LI 2416, acted incompetently.
He didn't use those words.
Well, that is the meaning. He said to be sorry that this parliament is also to be blamed for allowing the passage of the LI 2416. And that, in other words, they acted incompetently, and that, according to him, the solution is that government must annul the LI 2416. In other words, the Guam district, which was recently inaugurated by the Minister for Local Government and Reorganization and Decentralization, must be annulled. It ceased to exist. So OT as a region will now move from 9 districts to 8. If the government intentionally wanted to develop structures, intensify local governance, you would not be advising and working towards reducing the number of local government structure, i.e. districts, from 9 to 8. That has never happened to any region. Tell me which region from 1992 have had its districts reduced. That is why the Attorney General is proposing to his government that we should reduce the number of districts in OT region from 9 to 8. And when we have done so, and a court pronounced on the Buem elections, they will now ask the people of this Guam area to participate in the election of an MP for Buem. A process. I must tell you that they were ready, they were stopped. Another truth that must be told every other person is that,
they were stopped.
of course, it was the Electoral Commission issued this statement on the 6th December 2020. The material for voting has been bagged in all the ballot boxes. The 50 polling stations have had their material packaged before this statement came out. And so the Electoral Commission single-handedly opened the sealed ballot boxes and removed the parliamentary ballot material from the boxes. That was what the Electoral Commission...
And these are claims that we cannot verify.
I am telling you, I will not come and sit here. Why did you invite me? Did you not invite me because I was a key participant?
But you are alleging.
I am not alleging. I am telling you that. And I spoke to the district electoral officer, Shani, and told him if they open those ballot boxes in our absence because we were not coming, and something happens, it will be on their head. I constantly engage the director of electoral services. I still have conversation on our phones because I was speaking to him on this matter. So it is not a matter that I left lying like that. The CI 119 that they kept referring to. The truth also is that all the 13 elected assembly members in the SALL zone, or the Guam now as it is called, never participated in Jasikan district assembly activity. They were never sworn in. They were elected in December 2019. They did not participate in the inauguration in Jasikan district in that 2019 or the whole of 2020. It was only recently in 2021 that they had an inauguration at Likpe Mate. So when they talked about CI 119, government knew, the local government minister was aware, Honorable Dambochwe, the reorganization minister then as he was aware, the former regional minister and the current regional minister were all aware that the 13 elected assembly members never participated in anything Jasikan.
Right.
And so in calculating the government appointees for Jasikan district, now municipal, we used the 27 elected assembly members under Buim and Jasikan, the district chief executive and the MP in calculating the 30%, which gave us the 12. So when they sit and talk as if the Lolobi, Akpafu, Likpe, and Central Kofi areas were really under Jasikan, that's another falsehood.
Right, and let's put up the numbers that we have from the National Housing and Population Census. You can see the figures for yourself. A stark difference from 2021, the recent census that was conducted within the Hokwe municipality, indicating that their population has actually reduced from 262,046 way back in 2010. Obviously, this period would have involved the Central Kofi, Akpafu, Likpe, and Lolobi areas because you were all part of that number. Now it's reduced to 114,472 as we speak. There's a numbers game at play as we speak, and obviously will translate into the political power. Obviously, there's a need for us to explore that angle as well. I'll be taking the thoughts of Kofi Adams on that shortly, but let me start off with you, Dr. Dai. Looking at the numbers now, where do you want to belong? Do you want to go back to Hokwe, or would you want to go into the Boim, or have the new constituency created for you?
You see, it is not about going back to where you wanted to be. Because if you can remember, on the 16th of November 2020, we wrote exclusively to the EC, trying to remind them that our people needed to vote in the parliamentary elections. And I believe on the 30th, the EC organized a press conference and told the whole world that the SALL communities will be voting under their mother constituency.
Right.
And since the inception of the Fourth Republic, I don't know any other constituency that we can call a mother constituency. You see, they gave the assurance to the whole world because we took our inspirations from the fact that there was a judgment on the, if I'm permitted to read, that is on the 24th of June. That is the judgment of the Supreme Court, reference number 16/01/20. In the case between Valentine Edem Jache versus Henry Ametepe and 5 others. Right. And the ruling exclusively said that the existing electoral mandate must be preserved under CI 95, right. 95 until after 6 January 2021. By implication, we, the people of Lolobi and Akpafu areas, are preserved by this CI. And then the judgment.
That would definitely mean that in the last elections, you were supposed to have voted.
Yes, according to the Supreme Court ruling, right. They made it exclusively clear that CI 95 is still valid until January 6, 2021. Right. You understand? Right. And here is a case that when it came to the nomination of candidates, the supervision of the voting and all that, we all presented our candidates in Hokwe constituency. You understand? And the same EC came to supervise, nominate, and approve on everything. You understand? So if anything to come by, what the Attorney General is suggesting, it should rather be the Hokwe must be rerun, because that is where we.
So you want rather a rerun of the Hokwe?
Yeah, because you see,
not the Boim.
No, you see, elections are processes. Right. You have to put nominations up, you vet them, you do all those processes. Because right now, like the Attorney General is suggesting, Buim constituency is strange to us because we don't even know, or we have never participated in any electoral process there. So for you to come out now and said we should be padded to a destiny is rather muddying the waters, because from this judgment, you see, because Electoral Commission, Attorney General, was also aware that there were this, but they allowed us to, participate in the electoral process, and then the eve before the elections, you come up and say, no, these people cannot vote. You see, because the Constitution does not even mandate the EC to do that, because they exceeded their mandate, you understand? So like Honorable Kofi Adams is saying, the problem is that from beginning, there was something very faulty. We didn't hold, you understand?
We know that there are some matters in court, obviously. I don't know how far with that, but if the election is to be annulled, do you want the Hohwe municipality, the Hohwe constituency to be annulled so you can have the opportunity of voting? Then, but you are also within a new region. That's the constitutional challenge there. You are within a new administrative region. So how do we reconcile that? Because you're no longer in the Volta region. That's a challenge there.
I believe that is somebody's perception, because like I reiterated.
But it's not perception that you're in the OT region. You're still in the OT region.
You see, because if you remember, our constitution is very flexible. It states that if there is any adverse finding against an individual of a group of people, they should be given the chance to challenge that order or ruling. And then we patiently waited for the Justice Brobe's report to come out. And on the 9th, can you imagine, on the 9th of September 2019, we appealed against Justice Brobe's findings. To date, our case have never been called. We wrote to the Chief Justice reminding him of this peculiar situation. It fell on deaf ears.
What has happened to that case?
It has not been called.
Have you made any attempts at following up on the demands that you made to the
We are doing that every day. That is the reason why we wrote to the Chief Justice, because we were faced with judicial frustrations from the highest order. No, because since 2019, you imagine when Honorable Peter Amewu's case was called, within 6 days, the same Attorney General was able to move this case from Ho to Accra, and then it was resolved. Then what?
Judicial frustration.
Yes,
you feel the Chief Justice is complicit in all of this. He could have averted.
I am not saying that, because
you feel he could have averted the situation.
Yeah, because he is the head of the judiciary. So if you are facing frustrations, who do you? Let me put it in my layman's English. Right. If you are in a school and there are some challenges, you go to the headmaster. If that analogy could be accepted here. Yes, so the Chief Justice is the head of the judiciary. So because it's an head of over 3 years. You pay your processes and whatever it is, and they will not call the case. The only time they call, they said it's adjourned. You should move to another court. And how do you call? Is it not frustration?
Have you made any more attempts to get to the Chief Justice so something can be done about this?
That is why when we wrote to him, he never responded, and then we wrote a follow-up letter, and still it is at the same state. So our lawyers have appealed, and the appeal process is 3 years, nothing is happening. So it should tell you that there is something basically wrong somewhere. You understand? Because, you see, before an appeal case can go on, or let me start it from this way. 6 months after the publication of any Commission of Inquiry's report, it becomes an automatic judgment of the High Court.
Right.
So if we are all sincere and ready to uphold this constitution, what should have happened? The judgment should have been available to all the courts, even the parliament. You understand?
So let me bring in Honorable Kofi Adams at this point, and that's a big challenge. Judicial frustration, he's calling it. I don't know how you want to term this, but there's the political angle as well, the game of numbers. In Parliament now, all sides, as you say, you are in dire need of the parliamentary seats. You don't want to lose either of the seats, whether it's in the Volta region or elsewhere. Here we are, the NPP is having one of its seats, its only seat in the Volta region is Hohwe. Here we are, the government says we need to go for a rerun in your area and not Hohwe. Do you suspect that politics is beginning to creep into all of this?
Well, clearly, if you listen and analyze the behavior of the Attorney General in all these matters, then you know right from the word go that it's politics. Why do I say so? I say so because I, as a politician, in the final days of my campaigns, from 3rd through 4th to 5th of December 2020, I spent it in the SALL areas. Indeed, when I got to Likpe Mate, I was chased out because the people there said they didn't want to have anything to do with whim, and that we were not to even come because I was suspecting that maybe they would say they should vote. So we went there. I was chased out. They also chased Mr. Aziale, who was also the MPP candidate. He was also chased out. Indeed, and this chase out was being pushed much more by the MPP activists in that area. Indeed, on Sunday, the 6th of December, they organized a press conference in the morning to state clearly, based on the promises they have received from their leadership, that a special election will be conducted for the people of now Guam after the 2020 general election for them to have their member. Indeed, they actually had a proposed candidate. They have had a candidate who was going around establishing offices. And I believe if Dr. Adair, because he is focusing on their principal position of not belonging to OT, he may not maybe admit some of these details I'm talking about, but he knows truly that they were establishing offices and they had proposed candidates and where the person was going to come from and so on and so forth. I know the person, but I don't, because they didn't organize a conference to so elect the lady. Right. I will not mention her, but she's a lady. Right. So they led all these processes. I am surprised that from yesterday till now they are quiet. When the Attorney General is telling them that we are coming to annul your district and send you to Buem, where you have never been part of. Not even when they attempted to create CI 119, which placed the electoral areas under Jasikan district, did you go? They didn't go. They decided for the entire period, the assembly members elected will be without an assembly. They were not in Hohwe and they were not in Jasikan. And so Jasikan was not taking care of them. Hohwe was not taking care of them. That was what happened for the almost 2 years from December 2019 when the district level elections were conducted till 2021 when they inaugurated the Guan Assembly. So it is not just about annulling, but it's about the deception. Government officials and members of, especially the MPP, who went there and gave those promises should be ashamed of themselves. You feel government deceived them? They deceived them. Aside of deceiving them now, they went to sleep. See, they promised to create a district during the OT regional creation. They went to sleep on it because the CI that established OT region, the CI 112, came into force in February 2019. I wish we could just roll the excerpts of the Justice Brobe Commission's report to you. If that's ready, we'll bring that to you, where the report enlisted a number of areas that should be captured in the new area that you're talking about. And I'm saying that the CI 112, yes, which established OT region, came into force in February 2019. So from February 2019 till about June 2020, that was such a long time to have created a district that would have enabled the Electoral Commission ample time to have a CI that would be laid before Parliament to even have a constituency also created. The government went to sleep. It is that sleep, I don't want them to continue sleeping. That's why I'm asking the Attorney General the kind of question. Right. Could the problem not be coming from the people? What you want? Let me just chip in something. Right. Honorable Kofi Adams was saying that we went to sleep. That is not. No, not you. I'm just saying you went to sleep. Well, I said government went to sleep. Yes, I was just saying do what they have to do. But to add to that, you see, I have taught. I'm not a lawyer by profession. Yes, but you can. But you see, the CI 112 itself has its own challenges. Because when you look at the CI 112, it is saying that OT region shall comprise of the following schedules. That is the existing 8 districts that we know. Right, and then we can bring that onto the screen. And right then for the following excerpts of the commission. I guess that's what you're. And right, and the following traditional areas. Right. And you know, traditional areas don't have any LI to support them or cave them into any administrative district. Right. So if you talk to the learned men who, the lawyers, they will tell you that the CI 112 itself had a problem because SALL areas that they cave there as traditional areas cannot be qualified to be captured in that form because
they have no administrative, or there is no LI to establish that.
Right.
You understand?
Right.
So it was based on that Lolobi and Akwafu traditional areas took the Attorney General and EC.
In this case, you are referring to the CI 112, not 119.
No, I'm talking about 112.
112 is what created OT region.
Right.
119 is what created electoral areas for the 2019 December district level election.
Yes,
so,
but
you are talking about 112, which created, that was the one that
but the 112 should have contained districts, but not traditional areas.
No, I'm saying that you mentioned CI 119. That's what I'm saying.
But you are referring
I'm
to
saying 112.
Yes.
Yes. So you could see that the 112 itself is problematic from the beginning. Like Honorable has said, I think the 7th Parliament didn't do any.
Okay, but briefly, what are you going to do next? Are we seeing a demonstration, or what are you going to do to mount pressure to get some solution to
this? No, it is not about mounting pressure, because you as journalists, you are the fourth arm of government. And now that you have known that from day one, Article 52 have been violated. Number two, the Justice Roberts Commission, which should have given the free access or for the courts to proceed, is still in an individual's pocket. You see, these are public documents that somebody, you see, I think what we should do is that the journalists...
You want the commission reports published. That's what you want.
It had been published. You see?
Yes. So I'm surprised you're saying this in someone's...
Yes, because you see, the courts don't have it. That is what I am saying.
Okay, well.
Because you see, before you go on appeal, the registrar of the court needed that physical document to this, and where are signatures of who and what took part is there. Because if we go back to the Justice Roberts report, the SFs that were published, you could see that page 91 itself, just as what you wanted to project, is very problematic. Because if my memory serves me right, that page 91 is saying that the following...
let's just bring that so we can help you out understand what's happening, and then I'll bring in Kofi Adams, because this is what you were talking about, the beginning point of it, right?
Yes, they said the joint
consultative committee, JCC. You have a problem with the
JCC of the people of the northern part of Delta region presented a petition dated 6 June 2017 to the President of Ghana, demanding the creation of a region out of existing Volta region. And I can speak on authority that Lolobi and Akwafu traditional areas have no knowledge of who even created that. Because you see, before you create a committee, I mean, you must have participatory, the stakeholders.
So you feel it wasn't done properly? Let me.
Not that it wasn't done properly.
But you were not
I believe that
part of the process.
This is somebody's imagination. It came from nowhere. Because you see, let me just learn. Because you see, the problems that pertain in Ketekrachi may not be identical to those in Lolobi or Akwafu. Yes, because you move from one region to the other based on your peculiar needs or the challenges that you have. Because, for instance, if you look at the reason why Ketekrachi was very, strong in advocating for the OT region is that traveling from Ketekrachi to Ho is a day's journey. You understand? And for us in Akwafu and Lolobi, traveling to Ho is a matter of 2 or 3 hours. But right now that the capital has been moved to Dambai, the same problem that Ketekrachi is having, we will still have it, because it will take us about 4 or 5 hours to get there. So the problem has been reversed. So that is why I am saying that this, what was captured in that layout, cannot be true, because you see, if you look at the other 5 regions that were created, each traditional area was assessed based on their own merits and demerits. So it is wrong for anybody to come and lump that all the people from Lolobi, Akwafu, all the way to Ketekrachi would put in a joint one single application, which is a little bit strange to me.
So Mr. Adams, what more actions will you put in place to check this seeming plan you're saying that government is having just to create confusion within your constituency? Well,
for me, who believes in representation of the people, I will continue to now push further the Electoral Commission that now the draft CI has been returned to them, so they must come lay it. When they have laid it, It is now left for the decision of Parliament and maybe courts to determine whether the people must have their representation in the 8th Parliament or they have to wait till the 9th Parliament before they get their representation. The other proposal being pushed by the Attorney General and Minister for Justice, for me, is not workable. That you should annul a district in OT region, denying us of development.
Some say you're scared. That's why you're doing all of
Scared
this.
of what?
of perhaps losing if
Oh,
you
how?
should go for another round.
First and foremost, let me tell you clearly.
Right.
Buem is a constituency the NDC as a party has never lost before, right from 1992. We have won it comfortably. Indeed, in 2020, I increased the gap, even though the person I was contesting against was even more resourceful because he was the DCE, and they had all these COVID funds and the rest at their disposal to do whatever they wanted to do. I increased the gap. The gap was even bigger. When I was recording over 18,000 votes, he was having a mere 5,000 votes. So I am in a very comfortable position when it comes to Buem. In the Guan area where they voted only presidential, President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo had only 2,000. President John Dramani Mahama had over 10,000. So there again, it is a place that we are comfortably placed. So it is not about winning or not winning, but it's about wasting the
with
people's
or without
time.
SALL, you feel you are
wasting
fine.
the people's time
Right.
and asking them to go back and do what it is that they would have done on the 7th of December, but you stop them. The Electoral Commission issued this statement to stop them. And you have a copy. And I have told you that material have been packed. I personally went to campaign in all the 4 traditional areas, despite the challenging environment that was existing then, of they rejecting that, they really didn't want to have anything to do with Buem. I visited all the 4 traditional areas. Akpafu, Central Kofi, Lolobi, and Lipe. I visited all those areas. The last 3 days, I spent it in campaigning there. Spent resources. So I know my strength. That's not what I'm worried about. Right. It's not about winning. But the fact that a government will even sit and think about a proposal that let's go and annul LI 2416 and therefore one district will cease to exist, meaning that OT region will be reduced by 1 district, is my worry. That how can you have a government that says that we want to increase the frontiers of local governance by creating new regions, to now be suggesting that we want to cut off a district and reduce the districts in a particular region to a lesser number?
How about the inconvenience it will create for the incumbent MP, for instance, the Honorable John Peter Mill? Are you not mindful of that?
What inconvenience is that going to create?
Because obviously if we're to reverse the situation and not go by creating a new constituency, that would mean that SALL would have to participate in the Hohwe elections. Because we would have been reversing the trend.
It is the Attorney General that is bringing that proposal.
Right.
What I know is that Akpafu and Lolobi are indicating that they don't want to belong to what? OT region. Right. That matter, for now, I don't want to talk about that. That one is Dr. Joe and his group's issue that they have put. I don't want to talk about that now for very obvious reasons. I don't want to and I will not deny them that right for them to belong where they think they must belong. Right. If they didn't petition, that is a matter I will encourage them to fight to its logical conclusion. My fight is that the people must have a representation. And that is why I'm asking the Attorney General to hurry. The Attorney General and the Electoral Commission should not even have a sleep. If I were a member of the Electoral Commission of Ghana, I will not have a sleep until I have resolved this problem. But it looks like they are feeling too comfortable.
There's an IPAC meeting, so let's hope that something will
And I'm saying that they are feeling too this should not be an IPAC thing. This should not be, after all, they said IPAC is advisory. That's the position of the EC, the commissioner. That is just advisory. What advice do you need when you yourself claimed that the people have accepted and have agreed to the capital of the constituency and you had a CI ready, except that the number of days the 7th Parliament was going to sit was not enough to have led to the maturity of that CI. That was why you didn't lay it. What has stopped you from bringing same before the 8th Parliament? For the whole of 2021, you didn't do it. What about the case of human rights that they have also filed? that they were not given the right to exercise their franchise where they belong. He stated that the Electoral Commission on the 30th November organized a press conference and said they will vote in their mother constituency. What they know as their mother constituency, where they have always voted under CI 95, is Horwe. So what was the Electoral Commission communicating when they said mother constituency? Right. Because their mother constituency is not Buem. They have never voted under Buem. Since 1992, Buem has been what it is. Why do you even think of adding 4 traditional areas to another constituency?
Yeah, but,
right. But unfortunately, we need to go. We don't have
yes,
all
I
of
believe.
the time.
Let me just chip in.
Just we have a few seconds to go.
Yeah.
So just
you see, I would think that we need to commend the Attorney General for admitting that he has erred in 1 or 2 deliberations, because we told him earlier on that the creation of the Guan district was in error, and they had gone to review the district. So I believe the way forward is that we should rather encourage them. Because if we don't do that, and then, Article 47(2) also says that this
we need to go.
Will not transverse between 2 regions.
Okay.
So I believe that the case must be referred to Parliament, okay, and then they do a bipartisan discussion, right, and they can advise the House on the way forward.
I'm grateful. Dr. Joe Adai is co-chair for the group, and we also have Honorable Kofi Adams. This is The Pulse. When we get back, we'll bring you some more stories. Stay with us. Welcome back to The Pulse. Now, the minority in Parliament is demanding the immediate removal of 3 taxes on petroleum products to mitigate the impact of rising prices of crude oil on the international market. A minority member on the Mines and Energy Committee, Edward Bauer, argues that prices may hit 9 Ghana cedis per litre should government fail to take immediate steps to remove taxes such as the energy sector levy, sanitation and population levy, as well as the special petroleum levy. The Bongo MP also tasked the Bank of Ghana to take immediate steps to arrest the depreciation of the Ghana cedi, which he argues is compounding the problem. Let's now have some conversation on this. We need to, of course, first of all, get you the latest from Parliament. Obviously, Parker Wilson is joining us from there. The Honourable Edward Bauer as well is joining us via Zoom. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us. So you're making some demands and placing some demands before the Bank of Ghana. But before we get there, why is the minority concerned about all of these that's happening in the petroleum sector? Well, we have to get you the latest, first of all, from Parliament. Parker Wilson is there. And Parker, if you can hear me, first of all, break down the demands of the minority to us.
Right, so, Blessed, Parliament has adjourned sittings, and I must say that today, the sitting or proceedings for the day adjourned quite early, just around 1 p.m. This is mainly because the House did not have the quorum number to transact business. When Parliament started, almost about 5 NPP MPs were in the chamber, as against 12 NDC MPs. And so the Member of Parliament for Tamale Central, Murtala Mohammed, raised the concern about the quorum, and that is Order 48. Order 48 requires that before Parliament can commence the business for the day, they need at least 1/3 of the members present in the chamber. Obviously, they were not 1/3, because 1/3 would mean that they would need about 92 members. But at the time they started, they were a little over 20. However, the first Deputy Speaker of Parliament, Joseph Osei-Usu, who was presiding at the time, per the standing orders, indicated that 10 minutes would have to be given to the members for them to get into the chamber. Perhaps some of them are in the committee meetings, some of them may be in their offices. And so that was done. The bell started ringing. And after 20 minutes, the members were still not done, were still not in. the table office had to count the members, and at the end of the day, they only counted 41 MPs in the chamber. So per the standing orders, the Speaker of Parliament or the Deputy Speaker of Parliament, Joseph Osei, was now forced to adjourn sitting. And I must say that the minority MP for Tamale Central, Murtala Mohammed, has indicated that going forward, if the Supreme Court is asking Parliament to strictly go by the Constitution and that of the standing orders, he will also ensure that at the start of every business for the day, 92 MPs would have to be in the chamber before they commence business. So if they are unable to raise the quorum number, then obviously Parliament will not be able to proceed and work on its business for the day. Now, after that incident, the Majority Caucus also held a press conference, and they have been responding to some claims by the minority over the ruling of the Supreme Court. And for the Deputy Majority Leader, the minority should accept the ruling in good faith and also comply, because in times past, the majority also suffered a defeat at the Supreme Court. They accepted the ruling, agreed to it, and worked with it. So they're expecting their colleagues on the other side to equally do same, and not to bastardize the judiciary, not to bastardize the judges of the Apex Court. In fact, Afeyomakin clearly stated that it appears the NDC is demonizing and bastardizing every institution of democracy. And that is actually a threat to the country's democracy that we've enjoyed for over 30 years. And so he is only admonishing them that if they don't understand and they feel aggrieved by the ruling, the best thing they need to do is to resort to the court, go for a review to ensure that at least their concerns are addressed. So these are some of the things that have happened in the chamber today.
Yes, but then now let's shift focus. Let's talk about the fuel prices and the demands of the minority.
Right, so, Blessed, the minority is concerned about the hikes in fuel prices. And they are saying that if government doesn't remove some 3 taxes, we'll be hitting about 9 cedis per liter, which would further burden the ordinary Ghanaian and the consumer in the country. And some of the taxes they have talked about is the sanitation levy on the fuel price, the fuel and the petroleum prices. They want government to take that off. The special tax levy as well, they want government to take that one off. And so the minority is quite concerned that in the midst of the global crisis, government is doing nothing to cushion the ordinary Ghanaian. That is not all. The case about the depreciation of the Ghanaian cedi is also skyrocketing. And they also believe it has equally contributed to what we are currently seeing, the economic mess. So these are key concerns, that being the representatives of the people here in Parliament, it is their duty to ensure that government reduce or remove these taxes to cushion the ordinary consumer. Well, they are making the point that, in fact, the Bongo NP, who is a member of the Mines and Energy Committee, has been making the point that if government is sensitive enough, this is the time they have to show that indeed they are in charge and understand the plight of the ordinary Ghanaian by removing all these nuisance taxes from the petroleum. They talk about the bust margins, which they believe that all these things compound the problem and further increase the petroleum prices. So if it is taken off, it would give some room for drivers, for passengers, for commuters to have a leeway as far as the prices of petroleum prices are concerned.
Parker, I'm grateful. Of course, we need to have some discussion on this. Let's now get to understand what's happening. Kojopoku is joining us live on Zoom now. Mr. Kojopoku, so these are the demands from the minority. What more can you say about the taxes? We've done quite a lot about this, but government is not willing to deal with the aspects of the taxes. What more can you say about this?
Well, good afternoon, and good afternoon to your viewer. I think it becomes very difficult when the same government is asking Parliament to pass policy or pass law that asks government to collect more revenue, and Parliament is not passing it. And the same parliamentarians who are not passing the bill for government to collect more revenue is saying that government should reduce taxes. Look, let's be honest with ourselves. We all know the situation the government is in. There's no point acting there's no point adding insults to injury. Government needs more revenue. Government has not been able to go into the world market to borrow. Some of us are against government always borrowing. Some of us have said that it's about time we look at a comprehensive universal tax to collect more revenue from those who are not already in the tax bracket. Now, if government is getting revenue through the petroleum taxes, and you're asking government to reduce those taxes, how would government make up the shortfall in the revenue which it otherwise doesn't have? Some of us are worried about the high prices, which is the fuel prices on the world market. The good news is that yesterday, prices went down from $130 a barrel to $112, right? And we are hoping that the prices will go down further now that the OPEC countries are agreeing to pump more oil. So these high prices is a bit temporarily. I don't honestly think that the solution now is for government to rush to reduce taxes, which will affect its revenue mobilization.
So if the concern is about revenue, there would obviously be another concern which got to do with cushioning the consumers as well. Obviously, this should be about the people and not necessarily government. But how do we juxtapose all of this?
Well, that is the catch-24. It's difficult. You can't just oppose it. Government's role is to raise revenue and do development. The other thing that we want the parliamentarians to do, instead of asking government to reduce taxes, they should be a good, watchdog, and look at the upstream and the mess it's in, and call the minister to parliament to tell Ghanaians what they are doing about upstream. Look, higher prices should be a rejoice for Ghanaians because we export crude. So with the high prices, we should be getting more money into the treasury. Then we can ask the Ministry of Finance to help us. But the mess that our upstream is in, there are companies that are not doing any exploration activities. The existing wells are declining in production. That means that we only lift about 4 parcels every 6 months, which is not good. So what parliamentarians should do, like my brother Bawa, should be a good watchdog. The parliamentary subcommittee on energy should put a lot more emphasis on the upstream and let the government do the right thing instead of asking for taxes to be removed.
I'm grateful, Kojo Poku, for giving us the latest. Now, we need to also talk about Fix the Country. The Attorney General says the police investigators have gathered some evidence to sustain the charge of treason felony filed against Fix the Country movement lead convener Oliver Baka. Vormawor, Mr. Vormawor, who is set to be unwell, has, through his lawyers, put an application for bail. He's facing the charge of treason felony over allegations he was he has actually instigated members of his group to overthrow government. The Attorney General has in documents detailed what police investigations have uncovered so far. Court correspondent Joseph Akable has more.
Has been in police custody since February 11, 2022. 3 different courts have turned down separate requests, all geared at getting him freedom. His lawyers are now making a fresh push for bail at the High Court. Documents filed in opposition to the bail on behalf of the Attorney General spells out challenges investigators have faced so far. The AG says the youth activist has refused to obey a court order requiring that he grants the police access to his mobile phone. A search warrant is also said to have been granted police investigators to visit the residence of Mr. Baka Vormawor. The AG says he has failed to show the police any fixed place of abode within Ghana where he resides. Sources within the camp of the Fix the Country campaigners team have described the allegations as untrue. They will urge the court to disregard the allegations. The application for bail was to be heard on Thursday, but was adjourned as lawyers for the youth activists said they just received documents filed by the AG's office. The case will be heard on Monday, March 14, 2022.
Now, it is a common feature of auto mechanic shops to indiscriminately park broken down vehicles along the shoulders of streets, and this is a common sight in most parts of the capital, Accra. Most times, these vehicles are abandoned and left to rot under the mercy of the weather. On Joy Clean Ghana campaign this week, officials of the Accra Metropolitan Assembly stormed an auto mechanic shop in Kolegono in the Ablekuma South Metro of the Accra Metropolitan Assembly, where the owner was arrested for obstructing on a public road. Michael Ashale has the rest of the story.
Today we are here to work on obstruction. when we talk of obstruction, people who block public way, you can see this is the public way, and this is a fitting shop, and they have decided to use their cars to block the public way, and no car can pass here, which is not supposed to be. They have a garage. I don't understand why they should park outside the garage to block the way. So we are here this morning to ask them why so and the way forward. That is why we are here. So we go into the garage and see the garage owner and ask some questions. Yeah.
I think this is the owner side, the boss.
Daddy, good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
My name is Florence. And you?
Yeah, my name is Frank.
Uncle Frank, you are the garage owner, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So Uncle, this is your garage.
Yeah, it's my garage.
But these cars parked here, they are for which people?
They are for customers.
They are for customers. Is this part of your garage?
It's not all the cars which is for us. There are some. The one parks.
Can you show us the cars that are for you? We would like to know the cars that are for you. Just point the cars that are for you.
Just the one here. The one here. This one, and I think this one, and this one. But the rest, the one that parked at the other side, is for the Smith. And the people in the.
I'm coming. Do you know this is a road?
Oh, yeah.
Yes or no?
Oh yeah.
You know this is a road. Yeah. So if you park here and you park here, what are you expecting road users to do?
Oh, this is just temporary. We are coming to remove. We will remove them very soon.
Do you have I'm coming. Do you have a permit of using this place temporary from the assembly?
Oh,
yes or no?
It's like
yes
it's
or
like
no?
somebody is coming to you.
It's a question. Do you have a permit of using this place as temporary garage?
No, we don't have.
You don't have a permit. So you know it's against the law.
Like I'm saying, not all the cars are for us.
I am just asking, your cars, you have cars here.
Yeah.
Do you have a permit for parking your customers' cars on the road?
No,
yes or no?
Yeah, no.
And do you know it's against the rules?
Yeah.
You know that. So today, what we are going to do is, we will arrest you for blocking the public way. We will get a towing car to come and tow all these cars to our yard, and we will surcharge you to pay.
All right, let me say one thing. No matter what it is, it has happened. So give us today. We'll remove all the cars by ourselves by the close of today. So you can come around for inspection tomorrow.
Do you know what we'll do? We will arrest you. I'm coming. AMA has been here. So what we will do, Uncle Ben?
When AMA came here, we removed all the cars. But it's like it varies.
And so you see, so that do you know what we'll do? I'm coming. Do you know what we'll do? We are arresting you right now. We will put you behind bars. We will bring you out when all these cars are towed from here. Then you will write an undertaking that under no circumstance should you park any customer car to block a public way.
All right.
So that is what we are doing now.
Something?
You can say anything you want.
If you arrest me today,
yes,
who will be in charge to remove all the cars?
You don't worry. We say we will bring a towing car. They will tow all the car. We will surcharge you because listen, AMA. This is not the first time AMA is coming here. AMA task force has been here. They've been here. And you just said that you removed the cars and then you have brought it back again.
No, we haven't brought anything back.
The Metro Health Director, Florence Kuchi, says the indiscriminate parking of yet-to-be-serviced vehicles on the shoulders of the roads is becoming a nuisance and endangering lives. She says the AMA will be clamping down on the menace.
It is becoming a nuisance. If you go around almost the whole of the municipality, most garages have blocked the public way with vehicles. Some don't even have a garage. They use the public way as a garage. And now we are on them. We will ensure that the public way is cleared. Because as public health is concerned, it is our duty to ensure that they do that. And we will make sure that they will not return back.
Thank you very much for staying here with us on Pulse. My name is Nathaniel Atto, and it's time to discuss some serious sports business. Now, there have been calls from the public for the inclusion of Sule Ali Muntari, him. In Ghana's squad for the 2022 World Cup playoff against Nigeria. Now, speaking after scoring his first goal for Ghana Premier League giants Accra Hearts Vogue, on Wednesday. The 37-year-old was asked that very simple question about, just making it into the national team again? He had a very interesting answer, but do remember that he made a couple of appearances, 84 of them, and scored 20 goals for Ghana, and did not completely rule out a return to the Black Stars when he was asked that very big question. So, should Otto Addo consider a Sule Muntari selection for the upcoming call-up? Joining me here in the studio is Joe Abote of Joy Sports, and he's been doing some, digging, and he's got something to share with us. Thank you very much one more time.
Great.
Are you surprised?
First of all, I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised because prior to him even making his debut in the Ghana Premier League, I said I had watched him a couple of training sessions and I saw what he could bring into the Ghana Premier League and to Accra Hearts of Folk. Now, Muntari has made his debut, played 5 games, came off the bench in his first game, played 15 minutes, and his minutes has grown. So I'm not surprised that Ghanaians are interested in seeing such a great player play for a Ghanaian club and also make such an impact in our league, and are expecting that to be replicated into our national team. So I'm not surprised that these arguments are out there.
Now, this is the other bit of the conversation. Muntari, what at all is he going to add if you have him in there? There are those who feel that maybe, you need more energetic players in the midfield for the Black Stars. Also something that, well, maybe he's done his bit and should just, leave it at that.
Personally, in my opinion, I look at Muntari as an experienced player. But I believe this is a moment in time where we are looking to qualify to the next stage of the competition, that is getting into the World Cup. We're facing a Nigerian side that had the 6th youngest squad in the AFCON that was played earlier this year, with an average age of 25.7 years. Very young, very energetic. Muntari would bring an experience into the side, but would not be able to play and give that experience on the pitch. And that's where I feel is the problem. If we are bringing or calling up a player, we are looking at the impact he can make on the pitch. Yes, leadership-wise, we will be without our captain, Ayu, but that doesn't mean we don't have leaders in the team. So I believe Muntari coming into the squad will bring a lot of question marks, because is he going to play or is he going to be on the bench? And that's where the problem is.
Is he going to play? Is he going to be on the bench? Big question indeed. But does that in any way shake or ruffle any feathers in the Super Eagles side, considering that they faced him in times past and they know what he can do?
Looking at the Nigerian setup, the squad list that was released, it was a very balanced squad. Their midfield had players like Wilfred Ndidi, Joe Aribo, and the likes. That's a good midfield. We are without Kudus, likely, and we are without Ayu, who is official. But then, if Muntari is to come and play in there, facing that midfield, we would need a lot of help in terms of him tracking back and him progressing the ball. He may be able to help with the squad, but then that Nigerian squad would put a lot of pressure on us in our midfield, because they know we are one man down with a grown player. That is where the problem is. So Muntari is a great player, great addition, could help in games where we know we want to move the ball. But then, for such a game, it's too huge to take such a risk and gamble to put Muntari out there. That's where the problem is for me.
A bigger risk, you think?
Bigger risk. The reason why I speak more on the risk is because the intensity of the Ghanaian Premier League is different from the intensity that would face against Nigeria. The Ghana Premier League is more relaxed. He's played more minutes. Yes, he's growing. But then the impact won't be the same, because you are facing players that are playing on the highest levels. Indeed, he plays for Leicester City. Let's consider that. He's playing a top role. And such players move with quickness and swifts. So where they are not going to leave spaces, and where they know how to move the ball. And Muntari will not be able to cover all that ground within the 90-minute period. And that's where the problem is. We can lose. This is a game we need high concentration, and we need high focus. And we need players that can give us high energy as well to match what the Nigerians are bringing. So that's why I believe.
Well, if you don't have a Muntari effect, what really do you lose then, in the midfield setup for the Black Stars in this specific game?
in this specific game, we don't lose much if we don't add Muntari. I believe we have great midfielders. We have Thomas Partey. Thomas can move the ball. For what we see him do in Arsenal, he can play as a box-to-box player, which Muntari would be doing for us. We don't lose much if Partey is in there, because that's a similar role to what Muntari would give us if we were to play that game. So I really don't see the minuses or the pluses that Muntari will give us in our midfield. He can come off the bench in the latter end and would be okay. But then, I think Partey is enough for us in such a midfield.
Well, we're still awaiting the final squad that will be put together. We're still awaiting that list from Coach Otuado, and we're looking forward to doing some analysis on it as well. As to whether or not a Muntari will be added, is still a very big question mark indeed. Well, thank you very much, though. Thank you very much. We'll be doing some more monitoring of the situation. And so thank you very much for doing the listening. And there's a lot more to follow, especially as we await the announcement of the squad that will be training and getting ready for that crucial set of games to determine between Nigeria and Ghana who goes to the next FIFA World Cup in Qatar. Thanks for watching. My name is Nathaniel Atto, and I have love for sport.
And that's all we have for you in this package of the polls. Don't forget that we have more interesting programming coming your way, but you also have to be on the lookout for myjoyonline.com. It's your hub for all of our latest story. In fact, you see the very latest one coming through there from myjoyonline.com, indicating that Parliament is not beyond scrutiny of the court, and that's according to President Akufo-Addo. More on that later on JoyNews Prime. I am Blessed.